The Goomba chased after Wario, trying to get to the semen and feces mixture in his butt. "Help me," screamed Wario, but no one helped him. However, this caught the attention of some of the other Goombas and Koopas who also joined the chase for Wario's ass. "Damn it, go away, you fuckers," Wario said to them, but they didn't listen. Then he came up with an idea. He grabbed his wang and started rubbing it in an attempt to ejaculate and get them to go after the semen and not his ass. "Good thing I'm a professional speed jacker," thought Wario. Within 2 minutes, he ejaculated on the ground and ran in the other direction. "Wario, no!" screamed Mario. Some of the more stupid Goombas and Koopas went for the semen, but the rest stayed still. Their tiny and feeble brains were trying to make sense out of what they just saw. The fat man just shot food out of that thing between his legs. It could be assumed that the man could shoot more food out for them. The Goombas and Koopas began chattering wildly, communicating their newfound knowledge of how to gain food. They charged at Wario, their sights on his dangling wiener. "Mario, what's wrong?" Luigi asked, noticing the worried expression on Mario's face. Mario sighed. "I was afraid of this," he said. "The Koopas and Goombas, although stupid, are capable of learning if what they are learning is not too complex. When Wario jacked off just now to lure them away, some of them were able to figure out that the semen comes from penises." Luigi gasped. Meanwhile, Wario was trying to fend off the creatures. More of them had joined the group, and were attempting to surround Wario. "Yo, someone help me!" he screamed, but no one helped him. Wario was starting to get worried. The Goombas and Koopas are usually easy to handle, but they can be quite troublesome in large numbers, and Wario had a good dozen of them coming in on him right now. The other Koopas and Goombas were now making their way over to Wario as well. No one was coming to help him. "Yeah, fuck you guys," he screamed. The Koopa paratroopas were the first to reach him. They dive-bombed on him, going straight for the peener. Wario just barely managed to dodge them as they crashed into the ground. Pools of blood formed underneath them as they lay on the ground, twitching. Wario had one hand over his cock to protect it and was punching away Goombas with the other. However, he was soon overpowered. He had Goombas and Koopas on all sides of him, and Paragoombas and Koopa paratroopas coming in on him from the air. Koopas were clawing at his cock, and Goombas were trying to force their way up his ass to get to the feces. All this stimulation was beginning to turn Wario on. A Micro Goomba had entered his ass and was crawling around. The Micro Goomba in Wario's ass had made contact with his prostate, and Wario's dick went from flaccid to erect in 0.6 seconds. This sudden size increase scared the Koopas and Goombas, and they all jumped back, staring intently at the dick. Wario took this opportunity to attack. He spun around in a circle, hitting them with his dick and knocking them away. He was about to start punching them when suddenly the Micro Goomba hit the prostate again, and he dropped to his knees and started furiously masturbating. Mario turned to Luigi and Yoshi. "This is what we gotta do," he said. "These Goombas and Koopas are the only ones that know about the source of the semen. We have to make sure that they do not leave and inform any others. We have to kill these ones or else they could rise up against us." He pulled out 2 fire flowers and handed one to Luigi. They both shoved the flowers up their asses to activate the power. Then all 3 of them charged forward to where the Goombas and Koopas were once again, advancing on the masturbating Wario. Mario gave hand signals to Luigi and Yoshi to split up. Luigi went to the left as Yoshi went to the right, and Mario kept going forward towards Wario. A Koopa paratroopa was in a dive bomb straight for Wario. Mario threw a fire flower at it just before it hit Wario. The paratroopa burst into flames and fell to the ground in front of Wario, who promptly splooged on it. A group of 6 hungry Goombas swarmed in and gobbled up the semen and the paratroopa. Wario's wiener went limp but immediately became hard again as the Micro Goomba in his ass continued stimulating his prostate. "Damn it, Wario, will you stop jacking off?" said Mario, as he threw fireball after fireball to guard Wario. "I can't help it," panted Wario. "There's something crawling around in my ass and it feels so good." He moaned and a smile crossed his face. Meanwhile, Yoshi was eating up Goombas, laying eggs, and passing them over to Luigi, who caught them and threw them at the paratroopas with one hand, while fending off ground Koopas by throwing fireballs with his other hand. 5 minutes later, the park was covered in smoke, and the smell of semen and burning bodies and anal sex was ripe in the air. All of the Koopas and Goombas had been killed by now, except for one, the Micro Goomba in Wario's ass. Wario was rolling around on the ground jacking off as the little critter moved around in his ass. Mario, although angry, couldn't help but admire Wario's endurance. He had been through a half hour of butt fucking by Yoshi, orgasmed 3 times within the last hour, and yet he was still masturbating. "Wario, quit spanking your monkey," Mario screamed. "No," said Wario. Mario produced a fireball in his hand and held it close to Wario's wang. Okay, I'll stop," he said, as his wang became flaccid. Mario looked down at Wario's wang and shuddered. "Wario, look at your wang, man. It's all red and dried out. There's a limit to how many times a man should jack off in one sitting, and you have passed that limit." Wario winced as the euphoria of the anal stimulation was wearing off. His wang, his poor wang, was aching. His balls were aching too from the stress of outputting so much semen, but somehow it all seemed worth it. "Alright, now we have to get the last Goomba out of your ass," said Mario. "Bend over and I'll pull it out." "You're not sticking your hand up my ass. You might shoot a fireball," he said while covering his asshole. He squatted down over the ground and grunted. He strained and groaned and screamed in pain. "You need to eat more fiber," said Luigi as he and Yoshi walked up and watched Wario trying to shit out the Microgoomba. Luigi walked around behind Wario. "I can see it," he exclaimed. Mario and Wario ran over to join him. Sure enough, the little Goomba's head was sticking out of Wario's asshole. Wario drew in a breath and gave a hearty push. With a loud fart, the Goomba fell out of his ass, along with a sizable chunk of poop and some semen. Mario picked up the Microgoomba and examined it. "It appears to have suffocated inside Wario's ass," he said, engulfing it in flames to make sure it was really dead. He turned to Wario, who was still shitting on the ground. "Wario, you probably shouldn't jack off for a couple days," said Mario. "Give your dick some time to heal and your testicles some time to produce more sperm." Wario finished shitting, then used his hat to wipe his ass. As he placed it back on his head, he said, "I'll jack off as much as I want." Mario just shrugged and motioned to Luigi and Yoshi that it was time to leave. As he was about to leave, he turned to Wario and flicked a spark onto his pubes. He turned away and walked off down the path as Wario's screams faded into the background.